Today on your 2019 Honda Fit, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Curt's Class I 1¼ inch trailer hitch receiver. And this is what your hitch is going to look like when it's installed. The cross tube is going to be visible, but it's tucked back pretty nicely up underneath the vehicle, so you're really only going to notice the receiver for the most part. It's a Class I 1¼ by 1¼ receiver, so it's going to be great for accessories such as bike racks and also for very light duty towing. It uses a 5/8 inch hitch pin and clip. Now, one doesn't come included with the hitch, but you can pick one up here at etrailer.com. It features plate style safety chain loops on the bottom with a pretty large opening that should accommodate most shapes, sizes, and styles of safety chains. It features a 200-pound tongue weight, and that's the force going down on top of the receiver. That's going to be great for a bike rack loaded up with 2 bikes. It also features a 2,000-pound gross towing capacity, which is how much that it can pull behind it. And this is enough for very light duty towing. If you've got a small utility trailer you use, you should have no problem hooking that up and just hauling a little bit of weight around. Now I've got some measurements for you to help you when deciding on accessories. From the center of the hitch pinhole to the edge of the rear bumper, it measures about 3.5 inches. And this is important when determining if any of your folding accessories can be placed in the upright storage position without contacting the bumper. And from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube, it measures about 11 inches. And this is important when determining if you need a drop, rise, or raise shank on any of your accessories. And since it is so low, I'd recommend that your accessories have a raised shank. It's a pretty easy hitch to get installed. Let's go over it together so you can have the confidence to do it at home. We'll begin our installation underneath the vehicle by lowering down the exhaust on the passenger side. There's 2 hangers we're going to need to pop loose with a pry bar or an exhaust hanger tool. Just pry it off if you're using a pry bar. And then we'll get the one on the other side as well. We'll now take our coiled wire and we're going to slide our spacer over the top of it. And then we're going to use the longer carriage bolt that comes in our kit. And we're going to feed this in on the driver's side. Your bolt will just thread right onto the coiled end. Then you can take it and poke it into the large access hole in the bottom of your frame. We're then going to take the spacer, slide it up in there, and then pull that bolt back down. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, but we're going to be using the shorter bolt. On our hitch, we're going to take the spacer and we're going to put it on the slotted hole that would go on the driver's side. This is going to be the shorter flange. Put it over the slotted hole, and then we're going to use some tape to hold it in place. We can then take our razor knife and just poke it in the middle there, so that way we can pass our hardware through. Your tow hook at the center of the vehicle will have a U-bolt that will slide over it like that. Once you slide it over, you can now grab your hitch. We're going to lift it up. And we're going to put the ears up over the exhaust there. And then this U-bolt's going to slide down in the 2 slots in the center of your hitch. We can then use the flange nuts that come in our kit. These are the smaller ones, and thread them onto that U-bolt. This will hold our hitch up, making it easier to install the rest of our hardware. We can then come back to our side bolts, take our coiled wires, feed those down through, and then line your hardware up, drop it down. We're going to do that on the other side here as well. We can then take our coiled wire off. And thread the larger flange nuts that come in your kit onto the hardware. We can now go back and tighten down our hardware. We're going to use an 18mm socket for our outside bolts. And a 15mm socket for our center U-bolt. want to go back and forth and tighten those down evenly. And then we can go back and torque all of our hardware to the specifications found in our instructions. We can then put our exhaust back into position. If you spray your hangers, it'll make it a little bit easier to get those back into position. With everything back in place, we're ready to put our favorite accessories in and hit the road. And that completes our installation of Curt's Class I 1 1/4 inch trailer hitch receiver on our 2019 Honda Fit.